Okay folks, welcome back to this rather unusual Let's Play of Final Fantasy VII, brought by myself, Lizzo, and of course, the one actually playing the game.
The chum.
That'd be him, yeah. Now, for those of you who aren't paying attention to the title or just weren't following the earlier videos, this is my younger brother. He has some time off school due to having finished the majority of his exams, and I have a lot of time on my hands, having, recently found out I'm going to soon be unemployed, so I'm going to be doing this until one of two things happens. Either I get my hands on a copy of Murdered Soul Suspect, or until they actually get round to releasing Among the Sleep, which is supposedly happening sometime at the end of May, but I don't know for certain yet. So without further ado, do you remember how to start this? There you go. Yeah, you just have to push the PS button to activate the controller. It should respond properly after that.
Yep.
You want to go into continue, not new game.
Oh no, he's just loading.
And it's slot number 2. This slot number 1 is still full of all my FF9 save files. Now, I apologise in advance, boys and girls, if my voice sounds a bit tired or a bit weird. I have just spent like the past 3 hours basically live streaming Dark Souls 2. So my voice is kind of raw. Surprisingly not through anger this time. The invasions actually went pretty well, it's just the sheer quantity of talking I've already done. It kind of screwed me over in that respect.
We're doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, save points a bunny. Hoppity hippity hop. Like, I'm very careful because basically, we found out last time that where I had the microphone set up, it's fine for when I'm recording on my own, because I'm used to projecting my voice, for you guys to actually hear. Jay over here isn't. So his voice was cutting in and out every time you dipped slightly below the volume threshold for the microphone. So I've moved things, so it's basically sat here on my knee, which is very, very uncomfortable. Just check I didn't accidentally knock out the microphone wire as I hit the back of the mic there. It's also the problem with me not actually playing the game. I start moving my hands around and gesticulating a lot, as I tend to do when I'm talking in normal life. Which is not a good thing to do when you've got wires scattered everywhere. It ends badly. What were we even doing? Where did we finish off with this?
Something about the next mission, and I just went to the safe point.
Oh right, yeah, this is the next bombing. Because we're playing as terrorists. Evidently. Hoodlums again. Oh, don't I just have all the luck? Nice suit though. When I say nice suit, might be a crushed velvet number, I'm not certain. Perhaps he's just a great fan of Burt Bacharach.
Who's that this time?
This is one of those cases there's literally no reason for you to know. He was sort of a piano, loungy type singer popular in the 60s. The only reason I didn't actually know who the guy is and have listened to his stuff is because there was a joke made about him in the Austin Powers movies. So I looked him up. Yipes. Yes. I all know the joke. I'm not going to make it though. As I said, my voice is already screwed. You working for the Shinra? You want some salt? The pepper? Yeah. Sort of doubt this guy is a head of evil planning by any particular stretch of the imagination. Doesn't seem like that much of a threat. Perhaps a threat to clean trousers at the moment, but what's a threat in general? Oh dear. Ooh, this is our stop. Oh no, they're connecting the cards. You know, I've never been on a train where they've coupled or decoupled any of the cards. Have you?
No. The only train I've been on is really London or Birmingham, so...
So, what about that journey to the seaside you and your friends did? Did they do any decoupling with that? That was quite a long journey, wasn't it?
Not that I know of, but I probably wouldn't know when they was doing it.
Yeah. I mean, this is all deeply fascinating, the comings and goings and procedural maintenance of trains, of course, what you all came here for, I'm quite certain. That's because I know my fan base and they're all weirdos, so I know they probably did come there just for that. But if I put it in the title tags, that's what they actually came for. Yeah. She was very proud of their content ID system. They're like YouTube in that respect. You all know my issues with YouTube and their buggy content ID system. This video is owned by so-and-so company. No, it's not. They have nothing to do with anything. Go away. It'll take at least 3 weeks to clear up this mistake. Thank you, YouTube. And in those 3 weeks, these random arseholes are making money from my videos. Excellent. Excellent. So glad that's a thing. Claude, come over here. You have to reuse the set piece. Seen this? It's a wire grid. Made of green. Come a little closer. Don't do it, Cloud. She's a vampire. Saved by red. Not the character, the colour. Security alert. We've detected a unicorn on board. The Mythbusters are on their way. You're not paying attention to what I've just said. We've been busted. They're on to us. We've been rumbled. Yeah, again, just thinking of real life. In this sort of situation, normally don't they just stop the train? Wait for security to arrive? Rather, carrying on to a destination with supposedly dangerous criminals on board.
They would, but...
I reckon you hear slurping sounds, I'm drinking my tea at the same time. So it's quite relaxing, this. I get to sit back and drink my tea and watch somebody else play the game, it's great. Jesse always reminds me of Hanukkah. Have you watched that yet?
Watch what, sorry?
Third. No? Good anime. I'll say Jesse there is dressed almost exactly like Hanukkah from that. Complete with the bandana and everything. No samurai sword, obviously, but can't have it all, I suppose. Dear Lord, you see that? Jesse just punched an old man to the floor. For no apparent reason. See him in the corner down there. You killed an old man. I know it's supposed to be, diabolical terrorists and all, but even so. She just straight up murdered an old man for no apparent reason. Aren't you so glad you saved her life now? The perfect disguise of fedora. No one will recognise me in this. Just look at him and go, fucking hipster. And walk away. Like I said, perfect disguise. Makes me a bit more perfectly when looking around very suspiciously, but which can't have it all. I'd say if in doubt, just start pushing the circle button on random things. This is not the time for a personal moment, Tifa. Yep, that's it. Mr. T knows where it's at. We're trying to leap out of a moving train here. It's not the time for personal angst. You don't care if I go first? No, that's a captain, not a leader. A leader goes first. Captain stays till last. Besides, this is a train, not a ship as well. Semantics at this point, I know, but there it is. Got a bit of sweaty palm there. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to disinfect my controller now.
Go for the best.
Actually, it does need cleaning. So you can see, like, around the left unlock stick where I've left it for so long, it's got, like, dust gathering up and stuff. Really does need a clean. Now.
Oh yeah, that's how when you jump out of a moving train, you land perfectly fine.
I assume there was a lot of unnecessary combat roles involved, and everyone was a bit embarrassed, so we just cut straight to the scene. Let's move out. Fusion! Reactor's just down this tunnel. It's weird, actually. Oh, jumps back to Cloud as well, which is even weirder. Say, literally, the next game after this, FF8, would change this whole morphing all the characters into one business. And you'd actually have all 3 characters running around on screen at once. So, I always wondered why 7 did it this way. It's not a limitation of the system. The system can handle this just fine. It's not an issue. Suddenly facehugger? Again, I think there should be like a 1 in 100 chance just randomly get a facehugger.
Yeah.
And that's the game over. Don't be wasting time, you never know when the Shinra will find us. Yeah, I'd say odds are pretty good, they're not going to be expecting this one random vent. Found some green. It's an ether. That's for restoring your magic. Well, your MP specifically. Ooh, dim. That's it, take your time. Safety first. Just as a curio, there is actually a button you can push that will highlight all entrance and exits from a screen.
Is there?
There is. I mean a button on the controller.
Oh, on the controller?
Yeah.
I thought you meant it in-game.
No. So, I obviously can't remember what it is, but there is a button that will put a little arrow over the top of any entrance and exits from a screen.
Yeah.
So a little function was put in there because obviously PS1 graphics are a bit grainy, so it's to make sure you can actually tell what's supposed to be an entrance and whatnot. Oh, now is not the time for a nap, Cloud. Oh, you definitely kicked that box, well done. If now has bruised shins. The Rocket Lounge. A critical hit. Again, it's an effect that later Final Fantasies would do with, well, do it a bit more smoothly, shall we say, rather than just making the entire screen flash eye-blindingly white for a second. Tends to be more based on audio cue in later games so that you know you've done extra damage. I presume it's because people went into seizures or something during this particular version. It's all like playing Pokemon again, isn't it? Weird fish cast Hell Bubble. It wasn't very effective. Oh dear. You know, sometimes I get tempted to go back and download, like, you know, the old Pokemon Red or Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah.
Then I remember the games weren't actually that interesting and I stop.
I mentioned that I've currently got that on my phone at the moment.
Well, of course you have, haven't you?
Yeah.
Which version of it have you got?
Pokemon Red.
Red or Fire Red?
Oh, Fire Red.
Yeah.
Well, they put a version of.
Yeah. It's the colorized version of the old Pokemon Red.
Yeah.
Ah, dear. I'm trying to remember what the differences were. Oh, that's it, wasn't it? Because the old Game Boy, at least the old Game Boy cartridges, couldn't actually hold enough memory space to have the entire roster of Pokemon. So the two different cartridges had slightly different Pokemon rosters.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. There was a whole game mechanic based around the Game Boy Color, I think, specifically LAN wire system where you could transfer Pokemon from one game roster to another. And that way I collect the entire set.
That's completely pointless.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of add-on stuff like that obviously you and that generation missed out on. Love innovative stuff. The most famous I remember, sort of stuff they used to do like with cartridges that could attach onto each other.
Yeah.
The most famous example that most folks will know about, of course, is with the Sega Mega Drive and the Sonic and Knuckles cart. Actually open up the top and slot on Sonic 2 and play an amalgamated game. There was actually going to be a similar function for the N64 that never actually got implemented. It's called Stop and Swap. It was going to be I think it's supposed to mostly be a software edition. The idea would be that certain games would have this little feature where they could set the N64 into like a holding pattern. It would allow you to take the current cartridge out and put another one in.
That's sort of like disc swapping in later versions. Or...
Sort of like disc swapping for the PlayStation, so yeah. So it would also allow you to transfer save information from one cartridge to another. Because obviously most of the N64 games didn't actually use external memory for saving. They had a little chip inside the cartridge. Most of them anyway. There were some companies that cheaped out and didn't include it, and so you had to rely on very dodgy third-party memory packs that constantly got corrupted and failed. I do mean constantly. You could get like halfway through a game, try to boot it up the next day and find out, save file is corrupted. Please start again. Ridiculous. In fact, the one I had for my N64, the battery pack in it actually exploded.
Oh.
Yeah. So do you remember when I got everything out of storage? Yeah. There was that little blue box I showed you, it was just full of salt. That was crystallized battery acid.
Oh, yeah.
Where the battery had exploded. I'm beating on a box. I'm beating on a rocket box. I'm beating on a box. Nice. Again, this is a lot easier because we're actually talking through all this stuff. I don't have to bother cutting out random battles, which is what I would normally have to do if I was recording a Final Fantasy game. It's what I did for 9, and my god, you went up literally a single episode of FF9 would take anywhere up to an hour to edit. Because I was constantly having to scan through the entire length of footage, find the random battles, cut them out, re-edit the stuff together, do a proper merge and transition effect to cover up the jump.
Is there an item there?
I do believe it is. FF7 does that a lot, by the way. Stuff will be like hidden just round corners. There'll be just enough of the item there for you to see there's something there.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any instances where you can't even see the item, but yeah, it'll happen a lot. So you gotta be very, very alert. Yeah, another save point. And your first tent. Now you can go camping. Actually, you've been camping, of course you have.
Yeah, for the whole few years of constantly going every year.
Yeah, of course you did. So it threw me, because I think you're the only one of us that was never in the Scouts or any such. I think all the rest of us of this family have been in some sort of organisation at one point or another.
He was in the Scouts, weren't you?
Yeah, Mal was.
Tash was in both of them, wasn't she?
Yes, Tash was in both.
The brownies and whatever the old one is.
Yeah, so she was in the brownies, but she was too manly, so they put her in the Scouts. She had a bigger moustache than the couple either. Yeah, and obviously I was forced to go through Cubs and Scouts. So you're the only one who's escaped that.
Luckily.
Mm-hmm. Just a very odd robot design. Just kind of looks like a mechanized, really pissed off toilet.
It also reminds me of Robot Boy cartoon.
Robot Boy?
Yeah.
Not familiar with that one. I know Astro Boy and I know Robbie the Robot, but Robot Boy, I'm not ringing a bell.
Very bad cartoon.
I'll take your word for it. Then again, with a couple of exceptions, you grew up with all the worst cartoons. I'm not kidding. There was between sort of my childhood, sort of around the mid and late 80s and early 90s. Between that and now, there was just an absolute barren wasteland in terms of proper cartoons. Whee! See, they may be evil, but they include a super fun happy slide. There you go. So thankfully it is exactly the same layout as the last place you went into. Just a slightly different colour filter, this one's sort of a blue instead of a yellow. You're very lucky in that respect. So I could be cynical and say that's just the game designers reusing art assets and whatnot, but it has a practical purpose as well. It stops your new players from getting completely lost. They got at least a vague idea of where they're supposed to be going.
They call them all the same reactor, and why would they change the design of it?
Well, I suppose you would assume a certain standardization of design. So Tiff is almost dead, by the way. You do realise that, right?
I just noticed that.
Yeah. It's alright. You can just chug this guy we found earlier, his heart medication, it's fine. Probably something that Jessie stole off that random old guy she beat to death. Seriously, I can't believe all these years I've played this game, I've never noticed that Jessie just randomly KOs. So, just walks up and KOs a pensioner. Perhaps the Shinra are right. Perhaps they really are just, terrorists that need to be stopped. It makes me feel less bad about what happens later on now.
I guess you're not going to tell me what happens later.
Of course not, that would be spoilers. So it defeats the entire purpose now.
I guess.
I guess bolt. It's super effective. Yeah, shooting with bullets also good. Also good.
I think I should put on the weapon for Mr. T a bit earlier.
Well, you found a replacement, didn't you?
Yeah.
The assault gun. It's only a couple of extra points of damage, but yeah, better than nothing. Did you equip any materia yet?
Oh, no, I didn't.
You should probably do that.
Yeah.
And not cancel out the menu every time.
Well, I was going to put Bristor and Tifa, but I guess she's not wearing any.
I don't know actually. I don't know if her starter gear starts off with any materia slots. Better find out.
I need to forget which one is that equipment.
One slot.
One slot.
Literally, she can have one spell at this point. That's all she's got. So if you only want to equip one spell, well, yeah, it's fine. I don't think you've got more. You've only got Restore at this point, haven't you?
Restore, that's it, yeah.
That's all you got. Yeah, it's not going to be probably not for another 15 to 20 minutes until you get a chance to get more materia. Still sweating, huh?
Yeah.
So it's not a warm day here, folks. He sits in here in shorts and a t-shirt and he's still sweating.
Don't know why, but
Just a naturally sweaty person.
just these controllers are just not Pt3 controllers, they also make my palms sweaty.
Yeah, I see. That's because the controller knows that you're a dirty Xbox user. I'm trying to reform him, boys and girls, Got him a copy of Dark Souls on PS3, so he's getting better slowly.
Well, I did first have the PlayStation 3, to be fair.
Yeah. Ew. Flashback. Papa, no! Sephiroth did this to you, didn't he? No, I just said. Sephiroth, soldier, Mako reactor, Shinra, everything. Please get me medical attention. I hate them all. Help, please. Oh, she stole my walking stick. Yes, for everyone shouting out in the comments, I know that was actually Sephiroth's sword. I know. I know. It always looks like one of those sticks that blind people have. Like I say, PS1. Oh, we should probably discuss the fact you blacked out in the middle of a mission. That seems important. I mean, if we could, set time aside to discuss Tifa's angst on a train that we had to escape from immediately, in a situation where no one knows we're here, we can probably spend a minute or two discussing the fact you blacked out, Cloud. You need to set the bomb.
So I thought, I clicked circle on the reactor, which happened.
Or you were still moving around at the time. You just stand in front of it and just hit circle.
I think I just made.
Ah, you got Tifa's first limit break. Well, limit break of the game, you know it.
Yeah.
Except now she's been poisoned.
I think I just skipped over Cloud's turn as well.
Only got a basic there. See when the little wheels came up with the yeah exclamation?
Yeah.
You can get that. That'll give you max damage.
Restore. Use that instead.
Yeah, that's why you got like barely 36 there. Say Tifa. A lot of the fist fighters in the Final Fantasy games, they have really unique limit breaks. In a sense that each individual one won't do very much, but they get additional attacks instead of additional power.
Yeah.
It's most noticeable with, say, Zell in Final Fantasy VIII. His limit break. Basically, you do as many attacks as you can enter button commands within like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
So you can do quite ridiculous amount of damage. His is like one of the only limit breaks in that game that can go over like the 10 grand limit. Because it attacks multiple times.
Yeah.
I suppose technically Squalls could as well, actually. But Squalls is always only the 8 or so slashes. Huh. This is already done. Try running back.
This is not a time for this one. It should be.
I say, I'm not sure what's going on here. It's been a very long time since I did the beginning of the game, you see, so I'm kind of out of practice in that regard. I'm trying to remember exactly what happens. It doesn't help that we obviously just skipped all the text boxes. That really doesn't help. I know there's another boss fight in here somewhere. I can't remember what triggers it for the life of me. Wow, these things take a hell of a beating, don't they? I remember these bloody things. Got a stupid amount of health, and there's usually a lot of them appear at once. You're better off having everyone attack one thing at a time.
Well, I guess at least I don't hit as much. Oh, and Bolt does twice a lot of damage.
I suppose that's the thing. If you would concentrate everyone's melee attacks on one at a time, or you have Cloud spam magic and eat up his magic points.
We'll go on Ether, so if the boss comes, you can still use that.
But you're assuming that you'll be able to see the boss before the event triggers, though. That's not always the case, especially not in Final Fantasies. Oftentimes a boss will appear in the middle of a cutscene, which means you have no chance to use curative items.
Mostly I meant in the battle.
True, but that is also a turn you could be spent attacking. You've now spent restoring MP. I mean, if you can get Cloud to level up before you go into the fight, it should automatically restore his MP. Should, anyway, I think. Like, again, it's been a long while, I can't remember if it actually does or not.